How can I pass my real estate exam on the first try? If you're thinking about going on the journey to become a real estate agent or already in class, this is probably one of the number one questions on your mind. There are a lot of people who actually don't pass on their first time. I personally just took my real estate exam and passed on the first time. And I wanted to make this video to give other people who are in a situation like I was 5 tips on how they can pass on their first time. So, welcome to my channel. This is the Gen Z Real Estate Agent channel. And my name is Clay, and I'm a newly licensed real estate agent working for EXP here in the West Michigan area. And so I just want to make this video today and go over 5 ways that I feel can best prepare you to take your real estate exam. So, if you're excited for this video and ready to hear what I got to say, go on ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Okay, so my first tip on passing your real estate exam the first time is to use the prep materials given to you by the school you go to. Especially if you go to a school online, usually there are extra prep materials that you can get, and maybe your package might cost a little more. I personally went through the CE shop, which there'll be a link in the description box below on how you can enroll there and get 35% off if you use my link. So I used, once again, the CE shop, and they provided what was called Prep Edge, extra practice tests, and there's a whole formula and a whole way that they break it down for you to study. So use those. There's a package with the CE shop where you don't have to get the Prep Edge, but you should. Pay that a little more up front and have that and use it, utilize it, because it'll already be included. You know, there'll be so many different avenues you can go and so many different ones, but you know, if you're in a good program like the CE shop, which is a program that I recommend, up front they'll include that in your package, and you know, it will definitely be a great help to you. My second tip is to use all resources available to you. Make sure that you exhaust every resource that you can think of to help yourself really grasp what it is that you're learning. There's a lot of theory, and what you'll find on the test is that it won't be word for word what you learned in class, but if you understand the theory behind it, you'll understand how to get there, you know. So that, I think, is messes a lot of people up, because you're reading something a certain way and then you get to the actual test and the question doesn't sound anything the same. But if you remember the formula and remember exactly how to get there, it will become a lot easier. And so what I mean by use all available resources, you know, if you're able to pay more, then, you know, pay for that Prep Edge through CE shop or whatever extra exam prep through whatever school you choose. Maybe pay for a prep agent. There's also the PSI. Depending on what state you are taking your test in, PSI has practice exams. Then utilizing YouTube channels, and also your sphere of influence. People you know. Do you know anybody in the real estate game? If you know anybody that's already doing real estate, sit them down, talk to them, ask them what they remember from the test, ask them what comes up the most in actual practice of real estate, and utilize all of that. I utilized a lot of YouTube. I utilized my practice stuff to the fullest. But what I will say is I didn't go overboard buying extra materials. I just utilized what I could afford at the time, because me getting into this, I wasn't, I didn't have $10,000 in my bank account or anything. So, but I just utilized what I could afford at the time, and I used it to the max. And so that kind of leads me into my third tip, which is to figure out exactly how you learn. Okay, so that might sound like, oh, okay, that's a given, but it's really not. So often we try to focus on, well, such and such learns this way, and they said this is what they did, so I'm going to go exactly to doing that, or such and such this way, and instead of really trying to say, okay, from all of the times I've been in school, when I've done my best, how did I study? When I've done my best, what did that look like? Because some people are great in practice but can't take tests, and some people are not the best studiers but are great on tests. So you have to figure out what it is, what way. Some people read faster, so they rather read this and keep going over. Some people rather see the wrong answers and work their way backwards. There's so many different ways to learn, and none of us learn the same. So you can take tips and tricks from other people and what other people did exactly, and put it together and just kind of figure out what exactly works for you. And then when you find what works for you, go ahead and actually put in the work to practice. So, number 4. So let's go. Actually, before I even go to 4, let's go back over the first 3. 1, use the prep. Make sure that you pay for and use the prep that is included with your class. I'm not exactly sure how it is if you go into a place, because I did mine online, so it may be different. And in that case, I would say make sure that you pay for something like Prep Agent and use that to study. So the second was use all available resources. So it's kind of close to the same, but it's saying use the people, use Facebook, meet new people to dialogue with and to learn. Even if you, call some agents and see if they're busy. That can be something that helps you in what you're doing. Okay, and then 3 was figure out your personal study style. Everybody's is different. Mine may not work for you. Yours may not work for me. So figure out what really works for you and go with it. Okay, so now, once again, 4, get some rest. Do not go into any test, without sleeping well. Your brain, your body, everything functions well on a good night's sleep. And think about that when you're scheduling your test. If you know that you don't do so good first thing in the morning, then you should try to schedule your test for the afternoon, so that you know that you are up and around and already have your juices flowing, and maybe even got yourself a little more studying in. If you know that by the middle of the day you are ready for a nap, then schedule it for early in the morning. There's different times for different people, so just make sure that you get some rest. It may sound corny, it may sound cliche, it may sound like I was just looking for another tip, but no, it is really important You know, the way you treat your body is really important. You know, and so getting some rest, drinking plenty of water, going in there on a full stomach but not overly full, you know, all those things are important and they help. Okay. And number 5, and to me, this is the one that ties it all together. This is, to me, the most important. And that is be confident. Have faith. Understand that the words you speak have power. The thoughts you think have power. You know, no matter what you believe in. You have the power to change your whole physiological well-being. And if you believe that you can do it, and you study like you're going to pass, and you take the course seriously like you're going to pass, and you really put your whole heart into this, and you really believe in it, you cannot fail. But if you go into it thinking, oh my goodness, I'm gonna fail, maybe this isn't for me, you know, I know these thoughts will come. Don't get me wrong, these thoughts will come because they came for me. You know, but you have to overall understand, hey, I got this. You know, all this studying wasn't for nothing. Me taking these classes wasn't for nothing. This is important. This is something that I really want to do, and I got it. You know, those who say they can and those who say they can't, they're both right, usually. You know, and that's a saying. You know, you have to really believe, have faith, and go at it with your whole being if you are ever going to pass. And trust me, it's possible to pass on your first time. I won't make this video and say, hey, I study for 10 hours a day. No, you know, I have a child, you know, and I have a life, you know, and I passed on my first time, you know, and trust me, most of you would study 10 times harder than I did. And not to say that I didn't want it, but I just I understand my study style. I understand how I study. That's why I said that's important. I understand how I learn. I understand how I retain information. So that's why I said that's very important. But definitely, just be confident. So make sure you use all the materials. Use all of your available resources, including your sphere of influence, which is going to come in handy when you start in the real estate game. Learn your own personal style of studying and go with that. You know, what's good, sometimes what's good for one person may not be good for you. So don't get so caught up on being exactly like somebody else and focus on fitting it to yourself. 4, make sure you go into the test well rested. And 5, be confident, have faith, be at peace. Don't go in with such nervousness. Control your thoughts, control your breathing. You know, look up ways to cope with anxiety in those moments, and just go in there with the faith that, hey, I studied and I really enjoy this, and this is really for me, and I'm going to pass, and you'll do great. So if this video was helpful to you, you know, it'd be really nice if you would like, comment what you think on the video, comment any other tips, any other things that work for you, comment any other videos you want to see from me. Share with anybody that you think would be interested in this, or anybody who's beginning in real estate. And follow me on Instagram at Clayvon, KLAIVON.Jackson. And you can follow my Facebook page at Clavon Jackson, real estate agent. And again, that's Clavon, Klaivon. And so, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy. I hope you got some good information. And I'll be back with another video soon.